actually going to start getting down to business here and learning to sight read. So, my piano turned on. Let's start with the next PDF file. And this is just a diagram of the keyboard and the 7 letters on the piano. Now there are only 7. There are 88 keys on the piano. Less if you have a keyboard that's shortened. But they're named by only 7 letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that's it. Then we name them over and over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But this is how I want to learn them. Let's start with the 2 black keys right here. Alright? And we see anywhere on the piano where we have a group of 2 black keys together, here. Okay, or I could go here. Now right here is not a group of 2 blacks because it's a group of 3. Okay, so if you can't just take those 2 or these 2. That's a group of 3. So it's got to be just 2. I can go anywhere on the piano and find a group of 2 black keys, and I'm going to find these 3 letters, C, D, E. Let's look at the first one, D. Okay? D is always in between, the white key that's in between the 2 black keys. So what I want you to do first is to play all the D's on the keyboard. Alright, so everywhere you find 2 black keys, go in the middle, play a D, play the next D up. See, there's 2 blacks in the middle of D, go up 2 blacks in the middle of D, and so forth. And I come down this way, a D. Doesn't matter what finger you're playing with or which hand. D. The purpose of this is to get a visual picture for what a D looks like. Okay? We don't want to just memorize that D's on this finger because my hand's always here and I know that D's on this finger. You need to know by looking at the keyboard visually what a D looks like. That sounds very elementary and fundamental, but you'd be amazed how many piano students don't really get a good grasp of that when they start lessons. Alright, so that's a D. And then the next thing you need to do is to go to the left of the group of 2 black keys. And we're going to name all the C's on the piano. Alright, so 2 black keys to the left. C. Play all of the C's. And I have a little device that I call Say It, or no, I call Say It, Play It. And what that means is when you play the key, say the name of it so that you know what it's called. It's not enough just to push down the right key, but if you say it, then you know for sure that you know what the name of the note is and you're thinking about that. Okay, so play and say. C, C, C. You can even sing it if you can't want to. C, C, C. Alright, all of the C's. This little exercise that we're doing, you're going to need to do at the beginning of every practice session for a while until you really got it down. Alright, the next one. Now we've done 2, there's only 5 left. And then you'll be able to name every white key on the piano. E is always on the right side of the 2 black keys. Now you may notice we could just go in alphabetical order, go C, D, E, F, G, and then start over A, B, C. Some people get in the habit of saying, well, I know where a C is, so what is this note? Well, I just count up from my alphabet from this note. C, D, E, F. Bad, that's wrong. Don't ever do that. We don't want to get in the habit of counting up from a reference point. Learn that note. Don't learn another one and then always count up to it to figure out what it is. Learn that thing. There's only 7 of them. You can do this. So let's learn the E. It's on the right side of the 2 blacks. And let's play all of the E's. And I didn't say it, did I? I should have said it. E, 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 E. Alright, very good. Now, that's the set of 2 blacks. Okay? The reason I'm not doing them in alphabetical order is because I don't want you to count up. Don't use your alphabet. You guys are smart. I know that. And you'll use, without even knowing it, you'll use little devices to help you figure out a note instead of just memorizing what a note looks by itself without a reference point. Now, let us move on to the 3 blacks. Okay, you may wonder, what is all that stuff up there? Don't worry about it yet. We'll get to it later. Okay? One thing at a time. Look at the group of 3 black keys. Okay? So you find the groups of 3 black keys on the keyboard. We're going to have 4 letters on these. Now these, for some reason, are more difficult to memorize than the 2 blacks. Alright, people seem to not have much trouble with the 2 blacks, but the 3 blacks kind of get them. So let's take a look here. On the left side, we have F. Alright, so the group of 3 black keys on the left side is F. I want you to find all the F's. F, 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 and down low and so forth. Now the next thing I want you to do is not G. I want you to go to the other side of the 3 blacks. And we're going to do all the B's. Okay? So the right side of 3 blacks is a B, 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 and so forth. Those are our B's. Now, let's do the inside of the 3 blacks. Let's do the G first. Oh, very good. Circle. Alright, so G. Alright, so we have the 3 blacks. We're in the middle, but right here on the left. G. Find another G. 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 And then the low G's, so forth. Got that? Okay. Last one to go. Let's do the A's. So A's, 3 blacks in the middle to the right. A, sorry, A. Alright, you should spend just 30 seconds, or it may take 60 seconds, doing that each lesson to make sure that you can name the notes individually without a reference point. And of course, after B it starts over. Right here, if this picture kept going, you'd have 2 black keys and you'd have C, D, E again. So now you can name every key on the piano. So that's the first thing I want you to play all the C's, play all these, play all the D's, play all the F's, so forth. And the second thing I want you to do with this file is to pick a note at random. Just put your hand up in the air and come down wherever, and then look at it. Can you name it? Don't count up from C. Don't count up from another note. Do you know what this note is? Because it's in the middle of 2 blacks. And if you don't know, look at this big old PDF file here. It's a D. And then say it out loud. Say it out loud. Alright, D. Do it again. Random. Okay? Look at it. What is it? It's on the side of 2 blacks. If you don't know, then look at your document. Don't feel bad if you have to look. That's okay. Because that's going to give you a visual. You're going to keep looking back and forth, and eventually you're going to memorize. Alright, this is not a cheat sheet. It's something I want you to use if you don't have it memorized. Look at it. It's an E. Alright? Keep doing that. Do that about 10 times. And with both those exercises, a couple of days, you'll have these down. You'll have them memorized. And you won't memorize them, but you say, well, I'll eventually memorize them. No, you won't. You will not. If you just leave it to chance, you won't memorize them well unless you do these little exercises like this. Okay? So that's naming the keys. Now, the next file is the grand staff. Okay, so this is the next PDF document, PDF file, sorry, in the document. The grand staff note names. You need to print this out on a sheet of paper and have this sitting next to you all the time. See what I wrote up here, what I typed? Grand staff note names, use this always, 2 exclamation points. So, very important. Print this out, have it next to you. A lot of piano teachers use little jingles to memorize this. They'll use a mnemonic device and they'll say, every good boy does fine. That's how we memorize the lines of the treble clef. No, we don't. Don't do that. If you've done that in the past, and it's hard to get away from that. We're going to retrain your brain to not do that anymore. We don't want to learn a jingle. We just want to learn what these are. Okay? There's only 24 of them. little kindergartners can memorize 24 things, or when they memorize the alphabet, 26 letters. So you can memorize this. You don't need a mnemonic device to memorize these. Just learn what they are. And you'll really cut down on the time it takes you to learn a note. And that also cuts down, or that creates speed. Remember, sight reading is the speed at which we perceive. If you're going a little jingle every time, there's no speed there. It makes you slow. We're going to cut out that time with that mnemonic device, and we're just going to learn that the lines of the treble clef are E, G, B, D, and F, and so forth. Now, this is a treble clef. This little thing here, I should use my paintbrush here. This is a treble clef. Means high or high pitch or right hand for us piano players. So we're going to use the right hand when we see this. This is called a bass clef right here. That's going to be our left hand. All the notes down here will be left hand on this bass clef. All the notes that we will see with a treble clef are going to be right hand. So right hand, treble clef. Left hand will be bass clef, our low notes. Left hand, okay? Now, we have this sheet next to us so that when you're playing a new piece and you see a black dot and you don't know what it is, what it's called, or where it is on the piano, you can look here and say, oh, that's on the first space of the treble clef. It's an F. And we'll learn where an F is in your middle C position in the next video. But this is very helpful. So use this all the time. Okay? And I have right here the space notes grouped together on the treble clef. D, F, A, C, E, and G. And on the right hand I have the line notes. E, G, B, D, F. Now the problem is they're different on the left hand, aren't they? You see, they're different. Be nice if they were the same, but they're different. So that causes some confusion in the beginning. But you will get used to it. Okay? So print this out. Keep it near you at all times. Now the last PDF file we will do in this video, are the flashcard. It's the flashcard PDF file, and you can see it's just notes. And what I want you to do is cut these out, print it out, and then cut them out into squares. And on the back of them, you can lightly in pencil put the name of the note, if it's an E, lightly, okay? If you write it too hard, you can read through it, and you can, it won't do you any good. So write lightly in pencil on the back what the names of them are as we learn them. Okay, so that's this PDF document, or file here. Now, the next thing will be actually the first lesson when we'll start playing, okay? So, get those flashcards printed out, cut them up, and get a little baggie to put them in, and we'll start the next video.